sorry, in terms of market caps, are you investing like especially on the Ethereum and Bitcoin, which are okay the biggest market caps, or are you investing also in smaller projects that are more volatile, but they have like
Mitch, tell him about BitClout. Tell us a little bit about what is BitClout and how you're involved into it.
Yeah, so I got in on this thing, this decentralized social media called BitClout, yeah, so basically it's like Twitter more or less, but decentralized. So you can buy the coin, you can buy creators. So the idea is it's kind of like a Patreon, if you know what Patreon is, and it's like but it's like decentralized, right? And so it allows creators to monetize themselves. So basically, let's say I was like, oh, okay, I think Umberto is going to become the next Elon Musk. I could buy Umberto coin, and let's say Umberto does become the next Elon Musk, right? Let's say his coin when we start is worth $10, right? He all of a sudden goes to, $30,000, right? I own, 400 coins, right? Like so you're basically, you can invest in people based off of like, the idea is like social clout. They're trying to measure social clout, which sounds like crazy on the surface level. But if you think about it, like that's really like what Twitter and Facebook and all these that's basically what it is, right? Everybody's buying for social clout, right? So I got in on that. I mean, look, it's gone up. It's been down. To be honest, I didn't. This is again like a mistake on my part. I didn't really have a clear strategy when I went into it. I was just kind of like, okay, like let's just wait and see. And I definitely messed it up for sure. Not in the sense that like I lost money, but like definitely could have, like made a big, made some big money on it, right? And really kind of understood how it was going to, work. And so anyway, so yeah, so I think that, I haven't touched it, I'm just sitting there, and I think it's going to become pretty big, down the line, because I just think that people are going to shift over to something. I just think a lot more stuff is just going to be decentralized. I just think that people are going to get tired of, Twitter and Facebook and these different things. And at the end of the day, Twitter's trying to make adjustments, right? They're really trying to bring in things that BitClout already has, right? Which to me is like a very positive thing for BitClout, because if somebody's trying to copy what you're doing, generally that means that they're scared. That's basically, in my opinion, what that means. Like nobody copies things just because they like, I don't know, want to be nice. I don't know, want to be, they're like Twitter added like a tip jar. Well, the whole point of this is that you can basically invest in these projects or these people, and then as they do better, you do better, right? So I think it's like a very interesting project. I mean, I've invested in like the Graph, which is like Google for the decentralized web. It allows you to query things. So I invested in that. That's pretty low price. I think it's like 75 cents right now. I've invested in Solana. I've invested in Helium Network, which I think is super interesting for the Internet of Things. I have some Litecoin, so I have some spread out, but to be honest, everything is, I got in this kind of in the spring. I got like very invested in the spring, and then, over the summer, I'm pretty busy just like running the tennis business. This is like my busiest time of year. And then it kind of calms down. So generally, I try to do a lot of my thinking, a lot of this kind of stuff, the, 42 other weeks that I don't have the summer. So, I'm looking forward to at the end of the summer, going back and starting to kind of dive back into this stuff and get back after it. So.
You have another question?
No, yeah, actually, that was very interesting. I have a question for BitCloud. Do you guys know if it's possible now to sell, to take out the money? Because last time I look at BitCloud,
it is.
You could invest. Okay,
it is. Yeah,
it is now.
Yeah, so that was like a big thing. A lot of people were like, "Oh, it's a scam," and I can 100%. I think a lot of the stuff that they say is valid, right? But at the same time, I think that. If you really analyze like and obviously there's going to be like a hype in the beginning, right? And so, I think that just the hype was massive, but I still believe that, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, as people get you know, as people get more and more, you know, people look for alternatives when they get frustrated with things. And, you know, I think that, and personally, I think that I think like it actually would have been way more popular if it had come out like right around the election, to be completely honest with you, you know, because I think that's when people were like very, very, you know, they were very, you know, the politics of it was massive, you know, as far as people getting frustrated with Twitter and all these different, you know, social media sites. So yeah, look, I think I still believe in it a lot because, you know, Patreon is having a lot of success. And, you know, I think that this is, you know, kind of a better system. You know, there's not an underlying company. And, you know, you have a lot of like very diehard, you know, people on there who are like, you know, who are well, you know, decently well known, who are very committed to like making it great. And you have to also keep in mind, like, when did, you know, I remember when I first heard about Twitter, I was like, this is a joke. That's what I really thought. I was like, why would I need to tell people like what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember my friend, Dennis Kula, and I, you know, we would be like joking, like, oh my gosh, just went to Chipotle, like had a great burrito. Like, why would anybody want to know that? Right. And so I look at it kind of the same way. It's like, okay, like, yeah, is there a chance that it doesn't work? Yeah, 100%. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, I think that, you know, it's the same thing with these other things. Like, everybody thought it was ridiculous. The concept was ridiculous when it started. And, you know, it took Twitter. I mean, when did you get, I mean, I don't know when you got Twitter. Like, I think I got a Twitter in probably 2000, you know, 11 or 12. And I think it started in 2008, you know, so it took 3 years to really get like some, I mean, I'm not saying I'm the one who's like turning the traction, but I think that's when I was like, oh, wow, like this is serious. Like people are really on this, like people are really doing this thing, you know? So anyways, I think that's kind of how I see it.